Now, in the previous lecture, we have considered the facts regarding weather and climate. We are dealing with weather, climate, and the adaptations of animals to that particular climate. We already seen that weather is actually available for short duration. That means we are measuring some elements. We are measuring some elements only for a very shorter duration. Shorter duration means we can say that today or tomorrow or yesterday, or we can say for 1 week, maximally 1 week. So conditions, which conditions we are measuring? The temperature, the amount of humidity, wind speed, or we can say that amount of rainfall. So these are the elements of weather and climate. And in case of climate, we had studied that in case of climate, the elements of these climate are measured for very long duration. Long duration means we are keeping the record for near about 25 years or 10 years, 20 years, 30 years, like this. So very long period of time. For that, we are measuring the elements like temperature, humidity, rainfall, etc. And from that, we are dealing or we are giving the particular climate of that area. So if we consider the Indian climate, that means if we consider the India, then in India, 3 seasons are there. And how we have defined those 3 seasons? By observing a long-term weather. And from that, we are concluding that in India, there are 3 seasons are there: rainy season, winter season, and summer season. So these are the 3 seasons generally observed in India. Now, actually, some areas are very cold. Some areas are very cold. So here, the first region we are considering the polar region. Polar regions means the North Pole and South Pole of the Earth. So that particular area is referred as a polar region. And here we are considering how the animals are get adapted to live in this such a region. Such a extreme cold, actually their temperature is below the 0 degree. It is minus 57. Sometimes it may drops up to minus 57 degrees Celsius. And still some animals are living on these polar regions, and how they are adapted to such extreme cold climate that we are considering. So first animal already we have seen, that polar bear, who is adapted to live in such a region. Now the second animal, actually uh, it is bird as well as animal. You can say that in general animal, though it is looking like a bird, we can say it as a animal. Now how we are going to consider the second animal, or how it is adapted to such extreme cold regions. So the second animal is penguin. If we consider the second animal, which is penguin, which can be observed in the polar regions only. We cannot see that penguin in our area. It is not observed in our area because it is living in polar regions. It is living in polar regions, and that animal we have to consider. So this is the second well-known animal which is living in the polar region, and which is penguin. I think you all have seen the penguins, how those penguins are look like. That already you have seen in the images. Now, if we consider the penguin, the structure of body of that penguin, it is also white. That means similar to that of polar bear. We have seen that for polar bears, their skin is white or their fur is white. So they are actually merges well with the white background. So same thing is developed for the penguins. So they are also adapted to such a extreme cold region. That means they are white in color and they are well merged with the white background, because in the polar regions maximally it is covered with snow, so they are actually snow is white in color. So therefore, to match up with that snow, or to match up with that white background, to match up with that white background, it is also white in color. It is white in color. Now here the image is given for that penguin. The images of penguin, you can see that its body is white in color. If you observe the body of this penguin, it is white in color, and this white color body is actually merging with the background. You can see the background which is also white, and their body is also white, and therefore they are actually merging with the background. So this is the first adaptation which they have developed, which they had developed. Now, due to this white skin, or due to their white color of body, they are well merged with the background. This is the first fact. Then second one is, it also has a thick skin and a lot of fat to protect them from the cold. Obviously, they have to live in a very extreme cold region. That means they have to face extreme cold. That means temperature may drops below the 0 degree Celsius. The temperature is most of the time it is below the 0 degree. That means most of the time it is negative. So therefore, to face such an extreme cold condition, it also has a thick skin similar to that of polar bear. Polar bear also has a very thick skin and a lot of fat, a lot of fat to protect it from the cold. Why the skin is very thick and why there is lots of fat is present on their body? Because it prevents them from the extreme cold. You can see here the, I'm marking with yellow color, the body of that penguin. It is very fattish. That means a large fat is present on that body, and also the skin is very thick. Skin is very thick in this region. So that's why they can able to survive in the extreme cold condition. So this is the first adaptation of penguin. They have the, sorry, this is the second adaptation. That means they have a very thick skin and a lot of fat, so they can be protected from the extreme cold conditions. That means they are protected by the extreme cold condition. So this is the second adaptation. Now if we consider the coldness of that region, actually that temperature is very low and that cold is also very extreme. So sometimes the thick skin and a fat which is present on their body, it does not help them to prevent them from cold. Sometimes the temperature may drops very low, like minus 57 degrees Celsius, which is the lowest temperature on that polar region. So that temperature is very low, so sometimes their thick skin and the fat cannot prevent them from the cold, and that's why they are using another method to prevent them from the cold, and that method is huddled together. Huddled together इन मराठी त्याचा अर्थ काय घेऊ शकता तुम्ही? एका जागेवरती गर्दी करणे. ते काय करताय? एका जागेवरती गर्दी करताय. Huddled together means they are crowded. They are gathering close to each other. They are standing very close to each other, and they are making crowd in a very small region. Very small region, and there are too many penguins are huddled together, and that's why they keep warm. So why they are doing such a thing? Because due to this, they are keeping each other very warm. So you are well known with this condition. If you see a particular hall is there, sometimes we can see that meeting hall, or sometimes we are gathering in the meeting hall. So when too many students are gathering in the meeting hall, then there will be warmness, because the air will not pass easily, and due to which heat will not transfer outside, due to which the temperature goes on increasing. So that's why huddled together is the best way to keep them warm, and that's why the penguins are huddled together most of the times during the coldness or during the extreme coldness. So That image also you can see here. The penguins are standing very close to each other. You can see this image. They are standing very close to each other. That means they are huddled together. And you can see that all the baby penguins are inside of that huddle. That means they are gathered inside, and surrounding of them, the adult penguins are gathered or they huddled together. Why they are doing such a thing? To protect their kids or to protect their childs from the extreme cold. They are huddled together in such a way. You can see that the crowdness in very small space, too many cubs are there or too many childs are there. So that's why this thing can protect them from the extreme cold or it keep them warm. This is the another adaptation they have adopted for this such a extreme cold condition. So these three are the main adaptations of the penguins. The first one is they are white in color, so due to which they are merged with the background. Then second one is the thick skin and a lot of fat is there to protect them from the extreme cold. And the last one is the huddled. They are huddling together to prevent them from the cold, or they are keeping warm themselves by huddling together. So these are the images which you can see easily. First image showing the they are merging with the white background, and second image is showing the they are huddled together. So this is the adaptation. Now another adaptation is regarding the swimming. Like polar bears, if we consider the polar bears, the penguins are also good swimmer. We have seen that in the previous lecture. The polar bears are very good swimmer. They are very good swimmer due to their paws. They had developed their paws to acquire that ability to swim. So in the same way, the penguins are also good swimmers. The penguins are also good swimmers, and their bodies are streamlined and their feet have waves, so making them a good swimmer. Now their feet have waves means their fingers are actually joined. Their fingers are actually joined with each other with a very thin surface of skin, that is referred as a wave. Their feet have waves and the bodies are streamlined. Streamline means the body structure is made in such a way that the water cannot resist them. While swimming, water cannot oppose their motion. Water cannot oppose their motion. That means they can easily pass through that water due to such a body structure. So their body structure is designed in such a way that the water does not oppose too much to their body, and that's why their speed inside the water while swimming, that speed is increased. And also they have waves on their feet which also help them to swim in the water very fluently. So this is the another adaptations which is adopted by the penguins while they are living in the extreme cold region or while they are living in the polar regions. Now here the image of that feet is shown. You can see the image of that feet. You can say web-like structure is there on their feet. The web-like structure is there. You can easily see that. Net-like structure is there. जाळीसारखा जो पोर्शन आहे त्यांच्या पायावरती त्याला आपण वेब लाईक स्ट्रक्चर म्हणतो, म्हणजे जाळ्यासारखा. वेब मीन्स स्पायडर वेब, जाळी. सो their feet are designed like a webs. They have webs on their feet and which helps them to swim inside the water. Why those feet are developed in such a way? To swim inside the water very properly and very fastly, because some predators are there. Some predators are present inside the water which can hunt that penguin, which are hunting those penguins. So in order to escape from those hunters, they have developed such a feats which help them swimming properly. And you can see that their body is also streamlined. Streamline means some liney structure is there. You can see here the liney structure is there. So if you observe their fur, which is very liny, so due to which water is not caught inside that fur, and they are easily passed through that water. That means water does not oppose their motion. So it is referred as a streamlined structure. So in this way, the body of penguin is designed streamlined, and due to which they are easily swim inside the water, and their feet also have waves, so they can swim very fluently inside the water. This is the another adaptation similar to that of polar bear. Now, these are the mostly observed animals actually, which are observed in the polar regions. That means most of the polar bear and penguins are observed in the polar regions. If we consider the polar region, then in the polar region, most of the time we are going to observe the polar bears and the penguins in those polar regions. Now, along with these bears, polar bears, and penguins, there are some other animals are also present on those uh, particular region, on those particular polar regions. Already we have discussed that Siberian tiger is there, which is living in such a cold area, which is living in such a colder area. So if we consider some other animals which are living on those regions, are fishes. Different types of fishes are there, like whale are there. Whale is also living in that such extreme cold region, or other fishes are there. uh, those are living in such a cold water. Then musk oxen, which is actually type of cow, which is similar to that cow, or which is similar to buffalo. Musk oxen are similar to buffalo. I am going to show their picture afterwards. So musk oxen are similar to buffalo. They are also living in such an extreme cold region. Then reindeers, that means it is a type of deer. uh, so it is also living in such a cold region. Then some variety of foxes are also living in that region. Fox is also obtained, or it can be seen in our area also, and it can live in such an extreme cold region also, because they have adapted to that particular area. Like tiger also living in India, and it is also living in polar region, so it is adopted. So in same way, foxes are also living there. Then seals, you have also seen the seals, whales, and different types of birds are there, which are living in such an extreme cold region. So these are the some other animals which can live in such a cold region. Now if we consider the fishes which are living in those Arctic region or in those polar region, they can remain under the cold water for very long duration, because we have seen that for a 6 month there is winter is there, or night is there. So for a long 6 month, these fishes are living under the water, and they are living under the water. Very thick layer of snow is there, thick layer of snow is there, or thick layer of ice is there, and below of that those fishes are living in that cold water for a very long duration. So that means those fishes are not coming upward for a very long duration. So that's why birds must remain warm to survive, because fishes are not available on the surface of water. So that's why they cannot hunt the fishes, and that's why during the winter it is very extreme, or the conditions are very extreme, so that birds cannot survive in that region, and therefore they often migrate to warmer regions when winter sets in. That means during the winter period in those polar regions, these birds are migrating themselves, and they come back after the winter is over. So if you consider, the many birds are actually traveling to the India during that winter season. So if in the polar region the winter is there, then at that duration these birds are migrating to India. That means India is one of the most favorite destination for those birds during those winter seasons, and they are coming to the India to keep them warmer. So you are also familiar with that. Siberian crane is actually the bird. Siberian crane is actually bird that comes from Siberia to places like Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana. Most of the birds are coming to Bharatpur in Rajasthan and Sultanpur in Haryana. Those two places are their favorite places during the winter season, and they are coming to those places. And also they are moving to some wetlands which are present in northeast and some other parts of India. That means we cannot say that they are only coming to Bharatpur and Sultanpur, but that is the most favorite destination for those birds. And if you search on Google, then Rajasthan government and Haryana government had developed the places for such birds. That means they are providing food, they are giving the space for those birds, and that area is prohibited. That means no one can go to that area, so no one can hurt those birds because they are actually guests. So in India we know that guest is a god, so that's why we are treating those bird as a god. So we have make a separate arrangement so for those bird to come to that place and live for that live at that place for a long time. Now here I just mentioned previously musk oxens, which is buffalo like animal. So here is the image for that musk oxen, which is observed in the polar region. By observing that, you can easily see a very thick layer of fur is present on his body. So they can easily survive in that extreme cold region. So this is the animal which is present in polar region. The next one is reindeer. That word also I have mentioned you. It is one type of deer which is present in the polar regions. This is the reindeer. This is the image of reindeer. You can see the image of reindeer. Easily you can see that again the thick layer of skin is present on his body, and some white skin is there, so due to which it is also merged with the white background. So this is also adaptations for that reindeers. Then another animal, I told you that fox is also living on such extreme cold region. You can easily see that. Now this image is captured when that fox is hunting. That means it is hunting, he is finding something below of that snow, or his prey is there and he is catching that prey. So right now he is playing a role of predator. So this fox is referred as a predator and he is hunting his prey. And after lifting the feet in the air, he is using the gravity. He is using the gravity to catch its prey. That means he is dropping his feet very speedily on the earth or on that prey, so he can catch that prey. So he is using the gravity to catch its prey. So speed is depend on that gravity. So it is the picture of fox which is observed in the extreme cold region. First one is of reindeer, the next one is of fox. Then seal, I also mentioned another animal which is seal. Okay, so it is very cute baby of seal. So it can also live on such extreme cold conditions. So if you observe their skin, again if you observe their skin, it is very thick. It is very thick skin which is present on their body, so it can prevent them from the snow. And again their body language or body structure helps them to swim very faster, similar to that of penguins. So most of the adaptations of seal and penguins are similar. That means penguins are huddling together. In the same way, seals are also huddling together to keep them warm. So this is the another animal which is living there. And last one is whale. This image is of whale which is observed in such a cold region. So generally these whales are eating the seals. Whales are eating the seals or penguins. Seals or penguins or other fishes which are present in that cold water. So in this way, we can consider the particular animals which are living in the extreme cold region or extreme polar region.